Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moms and dads, what do we do today? Mr. Esposito, 6th grade science, Ralph Chandler, middle school, and
Mr. Goff, 6th grade math, Ralph Chandler,
middle school, and Mr. Esposito's got strep throat, and I'm talking close to Mr. Goff, and my voice is not the same today, so please excuse my voice, okay? Take it away, Mr. Goff.
Okay, you guys, this week is test week for us. We're reviewing in our classes. Math 6, you have a test on Thursday, starting Thursday and ending Friday. So just like the last test, you're going to have 2 days to do it. All right, in Math 7, we're actually going to start a day early. We're going to start Wednesday probably because we're already starting our review. Today in Math 6, we just went over how to choose an appropriate line plot or line graph or bar graph or stem and leaf plot. What do you use for different types of information? So we talked about that, how to choose the right thing for the right information. No homework tonight. Tomorrow we start our review for the Chapter 2 test. In Math 7, we start our review today. But there are a lot of kids with problems on a specific part. Now, the test for Math 7 is on a lot of things. But let's look at 2 examples here. We are adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing integers in Chapter 2. Here are 2 examples. We have -7 minus 5. A lot of kids mess up on this. Always use your number line. Start wherever it tells you to start, -7. So -7 is right here. This is where we're starting. Minus 5. That means subtract 5, go back 5 spaces. That's what that means. So we've just started -7, and we go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We end up at -12, which would be right here. Okay? So that is -12. All right, everybody? But look at this. This is what messes people up. What about -7 minus -5? It's not just -5, it's minus -5. Guess what happens? Those 2 negatives become a big plus sign. That's what you do. Now you're at -7 and you add 5. 2 negatives become positive. We did not have 2 negatives up here, so we were just subtracting 5. But when you have 2 negatives together, you add 5. So, start at -7 and add 5. You actually go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You end up at -2 right over here. -1, 0. So, they are 2 different types of problems, okay, people? And that's just a quick little review of some things that people are having trouble with.
And what do you call these things?
This is actually right here, subtracting integers.
Oh, subtracting.
Both of them are subtracting problems.
And I think, boys and girls, I'm not a math teacher, but I'm thinking from my perspective, if I was a student, these visuals would help you a lot. My friend is a mathematician. He's very, very successful. He's got a job in computer science. And he told me, Mr. Esposito, when I was a kid, I had some blocks in life, but I started using visuals, and that was it. The opportunity started open. Everything started making sense to him. So I'm just thinking that's a good way of doing it.
Always use your number lines when you're adding and subtracting.
All right, Mr. Esposito, what do we do today? Again, moms and dads, my voice is shot. I have a bad cold and strep throat, so on and so forth. I did say last week that we went over the classification. What is classification? We just introduced classification last week. We didn't get into it in depth. Well, guess what? Monday, here it is. We're already starting to go into depth about what classification is. Today we introduced them to taxonomy. And what is taxonomy? You're going to see it in their ISNs. Taxonomy is the science of classification. Yeah, that's what it means. We talked about classification, putting socks in your drawers, white socks with white socks, high tops with high tops, high socks, so on and so forth. But now we're going to get into taxonomy of living things. How are living things classified or organized? And that's what they call taxonomy, and that's a real big word, and that means the science of classification. We went over that, and we went over Carolus Linnaeus. Who was Carolus Linnaeus? He was a Swedish naturalist who developed the modern or current two-name classification system called binomial nomenclature, and we're going to get into that in a lot more depth over the next few days. By the end of the week, we're going to have a ton of big words that are very foreign and more complicated. And last week I said to the students, you know, a lot of the stuff we've done so far seemed a little easy because the words were kind of familiar, but now we're jumping into a whole new arena. These words, these binomial nomenclature, Carolus Linnaeus, hierarchical structure of the classifications of taxonomy of living things, these are big words, and it's going to be hard to follow, so we really have to follow along in class and look in those ISNs, moms and dads.
That sounds like students need to be reviewing probably every night about what's going on.
They do,
Because that's not
exactly.
something you can just study for after 2 weeks of learning it.
No.
You have got to keep up with this stuff.
It's almost like learning another language, if you want to think
Yeah.
about it. Another language, we can't wait till the 2 days before a test saying, let me learn Spanish. No, it's a gradual thing.
That's
gradual,
right.
okay?
So review. This is good review right here tonight.
Yeah.
More.
More. Oh, and Mr. Esposito and Mr. Goff, we don't have our jackets on today.
I know.
It feels strange. We're not wearing our jackets.
That's why
But
we're a
anyway,
little bit
Ralph
off
Chandler,
today.
2 thumbs up. You're
Two
looking
thumbs
good.
up.
Mr. Goff, Mr. Esposito,
That's all.
dynamite.
Dynamite.